right, there we go. Hey everyone, Richard Carlton here. Welcome to another great day of FileMaker training at fmtraining.tv. I'm the creator of fmtraining.tv, where you can learn all about the FileMaker platform and learn how to build better FileMaker applications for you, your customers, your organization. This broadcast is completely free to everyone and is being broadcast in high definition to Discord, YouTube, and to Twitch. This broadcast is being recorded, which is really great. Of course, we might clean up the recording a little bit, so if we make a malfunction during the live stream, then of course we reserve the right to clean that up on the recording later on. However, because it's a live broadcast, we encourage you to ask questions. In fact, some people get aggravated when there's this dialogue with you and we ask questions. We want questions. If you have a question, odds are other people have the question too. And so I want to thank everyone for logging in. Ken and TK and Dave One, Dave Learning, Ed, Elzo, Carol, Jake, Mike, all of you, welcome once again to another great broadcast. Now, as a reminder, if you want to check out the upcoming broadcast, go to fmtraining.tv, press the left tab for the live button. You can see the upcoming broadcast schedule. That's pretty awesome. Additionally, if you want to help support this channel, right? We always say this, this broadcast is brought to you by fmtraining.tv, bringing you the greatest and the most entertaining FileMaker training videos available. So the idea is that if you want to help support the channel, make sure you check out our on-demand video bundles. We have videos that cover the latest version of FileMaker. We have videos that cover the deploy course. In fact, we used to sell the courses individually. Anymore, it's just much simpler to sell a complete bundle for a low price. We do this on an annual basis. So if you buy one of the bundles, that really helps support the channel. It ensures that we can keep coming back every day, because this broadcast actually takes a lot of money to run. The people here don't work for free. So welcome to Friday, everyone, FMTrain.tv, where we do great FileMaker training every day. Today's kind of an interesting day, so I'm going to cover a little bit of low-hanging fruit stuff, some upfront questions first on some technical stuff, and then in about 15 minutes in, we're going to dive into kind of some issues about how people got to the FileMaker platform, because it's important to recognize the community. I mean, we spent a lot of time here doing technical, like yesterday was like how to make the link design faster, and Nick wasn't here, but it was someone else, and that was a total Nick moment yesterday. Jonathan Ray was channeling Nick Hunter yesterday. It was pretty awesome. So I'm going to leave the screen up for you. So Nick, we run into problems periodically where people say, and I'm going to address this on the Mac right now. I know there are instructions on Windows. If we can get those, I will post those as well. But someone says, FileMaker isn't running on my computer. I open up FileMaker, and it takes a long time for it to open. And you're like, what does that mean, and what do you do about that, right? And one of the things that comes up about the FileMaker platform is that it's much more better. God, the English. It's Friday. I'm not even drinking yet. I'm already botching my English. The FileMaker, between FileMaker server and FileMaker client, FileMaker attempts to maintain a cache of the commonly used bits of data on the local user's computers, called a cache. I'm specifically talking about Pro on Mac and Windows, and frankly Go on an iOS device. And what can happen is that someone, like I have 3 computers on my desk, and I decide to open the database at the same time so I can compare all 3. I don't normally try to compare, but I open them up because I'm going to start work for the day, and say the file's not running and whatever. And so one computer opens it up in 5 or 10 seconds, which is kind of normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, between 5 and 10 seconds would be typically normal, because it has to communicate with a server. And then another machine takes it 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, and it's the same computer, same hardware configuration. Both happen to be M1 Mac Minis, right? With the same RAM, same everything, same network connection. And so the immediate thought, of course, for most people is they have one computer. It takes a long time to open. The thought process is there's a network problem, which is one of the most common issues, that people start watching movies, streaming videos, and it's going to slow down their network performance, or their FileMaker server is having an issue. However, if you're having an issue, you want to verify with another user, hopefully in a similar situation, that it's working okay for them. They quit it, you reopen it. They go through the same thing. If it opens quickly for them, then really there's a problem with your computer. And what happens is that the cache on your computer, and every FileMaker developer or power user needs to know that A, there's a cache. It helps make your computer go faster, and it can get screwed up. And FileMaker has not built in within the product the ability for it to understand that the cache at the local computer is screwed up and how to clear it. There's no command that they've created for us to do this. Maybe someday they would do that. They would find it important to do that. In the meantime, we have to do it manually. So I'm going to go through this on the manual on my computer. Literally going to do it for everyone right here real quick. What we do is we realize that we have a problem with our FileMaker. So we're on this computer right here. We have a problem, right? I'm going to minimize this. I'll get to this in a little bit. I'm going to close this. So before you fix your computer, you need to quit FileMaker. Don't do this while FileMaker's running, because you'll probably crash your computer, or just bad things could happen. So you want to make sure FileMaker is not running at all. So I've quit it. Next thing you're going to do, I have my little handy cheat sheet right here. You're going to, on your Macintosh, at the Finder level, you're going to say, go, and then you're going to try to select to a folder. So go to a folder, and you're going to type in what you see right here. This is very specific. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this so all of you can see this. There's an equivalent similar process on Windows. You get to it slightly differently, but there is a caches directory, and the goal is to find this folder. So it's the little tilde, I guess is that a tilde, Nick? Is that what that is? A little,
yes.
Little tilde thing, and then a /library /caches. I don't know if it's case sensitive. I suspect it might be, so I always put the capital.
But it's smart. If you remove cache and you go to the remove cache,
okay,
the word cache.
Okay.
Tap C.
Okay.
Slash.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I can do it again. Yeah. So go to folder, and you type C right here. Okay.
Slash.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So everything with a C on this folder will display there.
Okay, that's great. So then what you're doing is you're finding a folder of caches. Now, not just FileMaker has caches. A whole bunch of apps have caches. You got to scroll down until you find the one that's...
It's FileMaker something.
Yeah, it's actually, go down to library, caches, and then you're looking for the one that actually is FileMaker right here. So there's this other one that was up here, was like a FileMaker 12 one or whatever, but this is the one right here. Now, you could be selective in here and try to figure out which parts you want to get rid of or which parts you want to keep. In a desperate effort to solve the problem quickly, delete the whole thing. Gone. Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes what happened here, I can explain it a
Go
bit.
for it. Go, Nick. Go, Nick.
On the Unix side of macOS. When you update FileMaker, when you have a multiple version of FileMaker, sometimes you have the permission screwed up. Okay. Yeah. So, and that on the Mac is terrible. It's when you have permission because the Unix has a very deep permission, like, or you can see, you can read, but you can interpret, or you can, you can read, but you can see and stuff like that. So depend what FileMaker wants to do with the file at the time. If you don't have the appropriate deep and advanced kind of privileges on the file, FileMaker will try again until he said, okay, it's gone, right? So
you're going to find this FileMaker folder. I'm going to click on it and press the Command Delete key to move it to the trash can. It's gone.
Yeah. And remove the parent folder, not what inside, because the privileges can be screwed up on the parent folder.
On the parent. So get rid of the whole folder, not just the stuff inside. Okay. Yeah. And then the idea is that you reopen FileMaker. So I ran into this issue the other day, and what we ended up doing was it was like 3 or 4 minutes to open a database. And once I did this, then the database would open almost instantaneously. Now, it'll start recaching things and rebuilding the cache, which is what FileMaker should do. It makes it fast. It makes it quick. So this is definitely a Windows issue and a Mac issue. You handle it essentially the same way on both. I need to find some printed instructions on where to do this.
But it's a cache issue, because the cache issue is universal on all software.
Okay, so then also on here, according to, and this is why Christian is here, awesome Christian, he gives us some additional information. He says, if I go over here to Discord, I'm going to bring this up real quick. You can see the conversation over here. He says you can also delete the FileMaker Client 12 and the FileMaker Client Pro folders. which might have web viewer caches. So you're going to come up here, and I see FileMaker Pro, that one right there, advanced to Pro client. I don't have it advanced on this computer for whatever reason. Basically, if you see FileMaker here, up here, I'm going to zoom in, I guess, a little bit. You see this one here, or another one that says FileMaker Advanced Pro 12, or the FileMaker. So there's really 3 different folders you can see on the Mac. You want to nuke this one too, because that will clear out the cache for the web viewer if you're having web viewer issues. That's a really awesome tip. Christian Schmidt from Monkey Bread. Once again, if you don't have Monkey Bread software, go buy it. It's
pretty much what I'm doing personally is I'm running into this cache folder. I'm searching for FileMaker, and I delete everything with FileMaker.
So that's another way of doing it. So find everything in cache folder and then delete it with FileMaker. So pretty awesome. So once again, definitely check out the plugin from them. So once again, you can always tell you have a smart FileMaker person, because you say something, you're teaching someone, and they can add things to it. They can add additional capabilities to the conversation and make the conversation better. Christian Schmidt, thank you for the positive help there. So that is that. There's an equivalent on Windows. I'm going to try to find some instructions on that and maybe get that posted. But I want to kind of pivot real quick. So before we get going too far along, I'm going to bring myself back over here. I'm going to invert myself back the other way. I'm going to bring up the upcoming broadcast schedule. I want to cover this real quick. So the broadcast schedule coming up, for those of you wondering about such things, is we have Nick Hunter will be back Tuesday and Wednesday next week, right? Monday we have self-help with Jacob Taylor. It's the scheduling the scripts with the newer version of FileMaker. You can run server-side processes that clean kind of caches on the FileMaker server. FileMaker server has its own cache issues, and those have kind of historically been a issue. And so what Claris did, instead of building it into the product, they built it into with the README, and you can call a process that clears this, that has the server basically clear itself. There's a couple processes that you can call up on that. We're going to be covering that on Monday. Unless you read the README, I guarantee in fact, most of my senior engineers don't know about it, because they don't really want to get that deep into server. As far as they're concerned, servers should just work, and it should leave them alone, and they can build the application. That's how most FileMaker developers are. Leave me and my server alone. It just should work. If it crashes, that's bad. I hate it, right? So most developers don't want to be involved with server stuff. But that's why we have Jacob Taylor coming on Monday to have that conversation. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, next week, Nick continues the brain transplant. We are excited about that. And then next week, Thursday, we're going to do a complete install on the Mac, kind of basic 101 kind of stuff. We're going to do an install of FileMaker server on a Mac. And then another week, we're going to do it on Windows. Then Friday, welcome to the Moyer group is going to be here in force. They're going to be covering DevOps with the FileMaker platform. You don't know what DevOps are? It's a fancy word for fancy stuff that you do at the more of the medium size or international or large business size that goes on. So it's an interesting conversation, a lot of ops. I don't deal with it too much personally, because I don't deal with a lot of Fortune 500s directly. I have done that previously in my previous life. Now, mostly I do training and manage my team, right? So that's kind of the conversation. So that will be the Moyers and 360 Works and Christian Schmidt. There's a handful of people who really contribute to this channel, to this live stream, to make it better, and we greatly appreciate what they do. And so I guess Moki just showed up sideways and asking us to find this one more time. So I'm going to do it for you real quick, Moki, for you, since I'm a nice guy. You're gonna go to the library folder, right? You're gonna hit go to folder, and then this is the path name right here that you're looking for on the Mac. If you're on Windows, it's going to be a little different, but it's the exact same thing. You're going to find it, quit FileMaker. You're going to kill the cache, then reopen FileMaker, and FileMaker will rebuild the caches as necessary. So the zoom, Nick, the command zoom on the Mac, where you zoom in, zoom out, is now support on Discord, which is great. I love that. So it's very, very nice. So you can do that everywhere. So Nick, so we're gonna pivot real quick. I want to talk about the FileMaker community. The FileMaker community is really quite awesome, right? And I mean, I guess I could go to the Claris community over here, and it's a name for their forum over here. But the reality is that the ecosystem, the people that are here, is generally a really amazing group of people. There aren't too many greasy, slimy weasels that you really detest. I mean, there are some that you can't go anywhere. Human nature being what it is, but the FileMaker community is interesting. It's a lot of people here. Every day, about 1 million people use FileMaker. At any given time, there's 80, 90, 100,000 developers that develop in the FileMaker platform. And when I say develop, it's someone who goes into layout mode and monkeys around with layout mode. That's a very low bar, but really, as opposed to, so it's a power user who can monkey around with their own stuff, can be pretty useful. So Nick, why don't you tell us how you got into FileMaker? Because most people don't start off their lives like, I can't wait to grow up. The kids want to grow up, at least in the United States. They want to grow up. They want to be an astronaut. They want to be a doctor. They want to be maybe a teacher. They see that. They want to be a police officer. They want to be a firefighter. No one comes up and says, I want to be a FileMaker developer. That just never happens. So, Nick, how did that happen with you? How did that even come up with you? You want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so actually it's an old story now, because when I was the Macintosh came up when I was 12. Okay, so but at that time I was experimenting with a computer like Commodores and Ataris and all those with the tape reader, and I was playing with this. And one day my father was going in the United States pretty much every month, right? And one day he came back with a computer. He came back with a box and that's called a Macintosh Plus. And of course, my father said, "Okay, you know what? You touch this, you're a dead man." That's what he did. What he told me. So you don't say that to a 12, 13 years old boy, right? If you say that, that means, what I want to do is to use that computer, right? So, and I started doing it. So I was using this computer when my father was, not here, right? And I didn't tell anything. And one day I was hearing my father screaming because he couldn't print with the image writer. I don't know if you remember that, the printer. That the
it's
first
a
printer,
dot matrix printer from Apple. It's called the image writer.
Exactly.
And it went
color and color. Yeah. Yes. So he couldn't. Okay, it was on local talk, and of course, with the selector. Remember the selector, the little application selector, and it was on the modem port and not on the printer port, and so it couldn't print the thing. So I came at the rescue and I said, okay, yeah, you need to go to the the Apple menu, and then you go to the selector, and then you change this. And he looked at me like this, yeah, how you bleep know this, okay? And so I explained to him and said, okay. So he couldn't say anything because I saved his butt, right? So after that, what happened? And one day, my cousin wanted to marry, and she had something like 200 guests for her marriage. And she asked me and said, okay, oh yeah, you comfortable with computer? Can you do something with the computer? Manage the flowers, manage the guests, manage the manage second stuff. I said, okay, yeah, but I don't have I need a software for that, right? And I don't have it. And I read on the a review magazine back in the day, and I read something about a Nashoba FileMaker file stuff, FileMaker product. And one day I called my father. I said, okay, look, can you go to CompUSA? Remember CompUSA?
Yep. CompUSA. Yeah, I'm here. CompUSA.
Yeah, CompUSA. That was the only pretty much retailer of Macintosh product back in the day in the United States, right? You have Best Buy and CompUSA, pretty much. Right?
Yeah, but you were you were in France when this was all.
I went in France. My father was traveling to New York every week.
So you told me to go to CompUSA in America.
Yeah, in America, because the Nashoba software wasn't released in Europe yet, right? So it wasn't that international. We're talking about 1984 or 1985, right? So he went to CompUSA, buys a box, the box of the software, right? And with the floppies, right? And I still have the box. I still have it. And then I used FileMaker to create the file of my cousin for her wedding, right? The flowers, managing the food, the catering, managing the guests, and I even printed the invitation. Remember the invitation on the image writer, like zing, 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 zing.
Yep.
Okay, my father was crazy because he said, okay, it cost a fortune in
The ribbons,
ribbon, right?
the
And stuff
ribbons,
like
yeah,
this.
the ribbons, yes.
It cost a fortune on this. I had to change the head 2 times because the dots matrix was something you have to change. The matrix, the dot matrix there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was okay. So I did this, and then people at the wedding, they said they were asking my cousin how she managed all the wedding and stuff like that, and she said, okay, that's my cousin here. He has a super software on his computer, and he did. We are 85. When you were talking in computer, you are ET. You were extraterrestrial. You were like the music, like the X-Files, right? It was like crazy, right? It's a computer. Who has a computer in 1985, right? Nobody. So, and I did this, and then a guy said, "Oh yeah, I have a shop, and I have my inventory." And the other guy said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing import export with and I need currency management and stuff." I said, "Okay, FileMaker, FileMaker." And I said, "Okay, I think I can make some money out of this." So, and I started back in the day. I was more an HyperCard guy. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep. I started with HyperCard first.
Okay, yes. So I was in a HyperCard. The problem is, okay, I love the HyperCard because you were pretty much building real software with HyperCard. Because you could HyperCard. I was printing directly to the printer from without the driver. You remember you could do that with HyperCard, right?
Yep.
And you remember the software ResEdit.
Yep, ResEdit. We could change all that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So with ResEdit and what's the name, and a HyperCard, you could pretty much build software, pretty much, right? But FileMaker was kind of like it was a low code kind of application builder. But at the time, we didn't have script. We have very limited scripting. It was very limited compared to what's the name? HyperCard. But little by little, with FileMaker Pro, FileMaker Pro 2, little by little, I start using less and less HyperCard. And FileMaker replaced HyperCard in the heart of many people at the beginning. I don't know if the most veteran of us can confirm that, but back in the day, FileMakers pretty much replaced HyperCard on the heart of people.
Yeah.
And the HyperCard died slowly, right? But this is how I went to FileMaker. But I started doing. I'm doing FileMaker. FileMaker is part of my life since I'm 14.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. All right, well, I'm trying to figure out how to boot the stupid computer Mac Plus over here. You're working on that. Other people had comments and questions about now. That's how you started, Nick. But you want to tell us a story where you were in the Middle East? All this stuff.
So
tell us that story real quick, because that's kind of wild too.
Okay, I have a juicy
story. Okay.
It's funny. It's funny. One day I got contacted by the people in the Middle East, meaning oil country, right? So and I got contacted to work on I can't disclose who it was and publicly like this, but but I was in the Middle East, so you have to figure out which country I'm talking about. Oil country. And I got contacted by somebody. Yes, Southern Bastard. Yeah, and I was contacted by somebody from the Middle East in the government and stuff like that. And he said, okay, we need you to build a database pretty much to manage all the drugs and medicine of the country. Okay, so pretty much kind of a catalog. They wanted a catalog of all the drug and medicine with interactions and stuff. But they had a book so far to do that. And what they want to do. They didn't want the book. They want to have something like a CD, an interactive CD, okay? Because back in the day, it was CD, the support for, for spreading things, right? And they want to distribute all the CD to all the doctors and practitioners in the country, right? So, and I said, yeah, we can build that with FileMaker. We can do something with FileMaker because back in the day we had the runtime, right? So I built the runtime with FileMaker and stuff like that. And when the guy came to pick me up in France to bring me over there in the country. We were talking about my money, my remuneration, my my income, right? And I remember the guy said, "Okay, Nick, how much you want?" And I said, "I don't know. If you give me 15,000, I will be like thrilled." And the guy said, "Okay, no, okay, Nick, okay. We have a problem here. You cannot go over there with me and ask for $15,000 because you're not credible here. You can't do that, right? They will laugh at you if you. I told the guy. I said to the people over there that you're the best ever, and you come with $15,000. So I said I got confused, and I said, okay, 10,000. Because I mean maybe 15 is too much. No, Nick, okay, 150, maybe 200,000, but not 15,000.
Right.
So it was, because you don't credible when you come with something like this and you say, okay, you're the best, and you come and you ask like for $200, people look at you and say, okay, no, you're not the best.
Yeah, that's a funny story because we do a lot of coaching and stuff, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, coaching is right." So it's a lot of times I've been told that we have to charge more, and then other people tell me I have to charge less. And then one person said that you should charge $15 an hour for yourself, Nick. So on the screen right now, for those of you who are not seeing this, I'm not sure why it says demos flashing around, but I have popped open. I think it's a Mac 2, I think is what this computer is, or it's a Mac Plus. And I am showing FileMaker, if I'm not mistaken, this is FileMaker Plus.
Yeah,
From
okay.
1984-86. Can you see the Discord screen, Nick?
Yeah, okay. So here, if you want the history of, because I met at one DEF CON. I don't remember where it was. I think it was in Phoenix in 90 some, one of the first DEF CON. I met the original writer of FileMaker. Okay, so there are two guys, they build the FileMaker, I forgot the names. They build the original FileMaker, right? So the FileMaker name, believe me or not, the FileMaker born in PC. Okay, FileMaker was a DOS application, a name nutshell. Okay, and it was kind of it was just a database engine. It was that's it. It was like Draco, it was like just a database engine, no interface, no graphical interface. We are talking about DOS. Okay, so, and then Steve Jobs came with the Macintosh and the graphical interface, right? And then they say, okay, and they had Mac Draw. Mac Draw, that was the kind of a drawing on Mac, right? So that was a software made by Apple, right? Mac Draw. And then the two guys at Nashoba, that the name of the of the software, the company, they say, that's interesting. Why we don't combine, right, Mac Draw on top of Nutshell? Okay, that was the original idea. That makes to put something like graphical interface on top of a database engine. Never be done before. Graphical interface never existed before. So database were like, before database were like SQL, right? That was the database, a bunch of rows, like a super Excel, right? And so that was a database before Sybase and stuff like this. So
hey, I have a question. How do you define fields in this thing? I mean, I started using FileMaker Pro 1 and Pro 2.
The right,
this is before. How do you define a field?
Define. Select, define. Go to no. Oh. No. Define. Go to select.
Select.
Select menu.
Oh, define.
Define.
So those of you wondering, like the field types and stuff, and now we've got like a container. Although they didn't have any containers back here, but if I go like
yeah, you have container picture.
Oh, picture. Yeah, it's a picture. So that's so now containers are a kind of field, but back in the day they were, or is a storage of a field. Currently, a container is a storage type of a field, right? Text, number, container. But in the old days, it was actually a
but you see auto entry. You have auto entry. If you select a field, you can go to edit.
Okay.
You can go to entry option. Look, it's.
This hasn't changed hardly at all, right? I mean, really?
No, yeah.
Yeah, serial number.
So if you want to cry, if you want to laugh and cry at the same time, you close this and you go to sort.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to do that. I'm going to hit exit. So we're going to be browse mode. Can I Command B? Does that go to browse mode? It did. Okay, great. So I got TK in there. I got records in here. I'm going to go to sort. Oh my God. It's the same dialogue.
It's the same dialogue.
Well, they've added the custom, the option for custom.
Yeah, but come on.
Wow. So anyway, for those of you wondering that thought today was going to be boring, we upped our game load. I'm not sure why the demo thing is flying around because it doesn't normally do that. But I play with this about once a year. So I want to credit Stephen Dolinsky from Oceans West. Stephen Dolinsky got this from him, and he.
Yeah. So the story of FileMaker that okay. So the idea was to put a Mac draw, because if you go layout mode, you will see you have some Mac draw stuff. You know, the arrow and this. Okay, this is Mac draw. That 100% Mac draw. This, you know, and you have patterns. You can put patterns.
Ooh, can I put a? Let me go back to that. Select that, and I select that, and then. Part.
I don't know how you
field. Well, this is FileMaker Plus. Do they have patterns back? Oh, they have style. Hang on, let me see style.
Yeah, you can.
Font.
No,
format. No.
But see, for format number, it's incredible. It's there, everything there.
Everything's here. Yeah. So I mean, it's like view as a list. Ooh. I remember that view as a list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pattern came later, because this is okay. Here's the history. You had FileMaker, and I have a juicy history if you want. No, juicy.
I thought it's already juicy, right?
It's juicy.
More juicy than that?
Do you know that FileMaker could have been a Microsoft software?
Really? No.
Yeah, it was that close. So you don't see me, but you know, it was that close. Where's my hand? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your hand's over there. Sorry, my bad.
That close.
That close over there.
That close.
Wow.
Okay, back in the day, you had a product named Forethought PowerPoint. That was an independent software. Forethought, okay, foreground, forethought, and this software company was in charge of the edition of FileMaker, not the development, but the editing of FileMaker, like the promotion and all the, and they were in charge of the creation of the book, of the manual of instruction. Okay, they were using Forethought to do that, so they were like hiring Forethought for that. So Forethought had a product named a very, very popular product back in the day named PowerPoint.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
And PowerPoint, at one time, Microsoft wanted to buy PowerPoint. Okay, so they want to buy it badly. They want the product badly because they had, they want it badly. So, and they say, okay, we buy the company. We buy all the company, and they say, okay, we buy all the company. And the problem is, in the company, this partnership with FileMaker was undefined, and it was kind of weird. And the people at FileMaker, the developer of FileMaker, they said, no way we are going to become a Microsoft software. It's not possible. And so they came to see Steve Jobs and said, okay, we don't want to become a Microsoft software. So what can we do here? Because we don't have the resource to do all what we need to do. That's why we were using Forethought. But if Forethought is becoming a Microsoft product, that means our product is going to become a Microsoft product. And then Steve Jobs said, okay, no problem. We're going to include your software into the Claris kind of lineup of products. So that will be a Mac product. That's why Microsoft. That's why FileMaker landed up into the Apple kind of court. Is because this they didn't want the product to become a Microsoft product, so they went to Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs said, okay, yeah, no problem.
Interesting.
Let's bring the software inside the FileMaker, because they were extremely FileMaker people at the time, and Apple people, they were extremely close, because it was kind of a revolutionary. like what you're using right now, and it's kind of laughable a little bit because it's so simple, but it's so simplistic, but it was revolutionary.
In '84. This was really revolutionary stuff.
Yeah, revolutionary. So so that's why, and the product. So the history of product. If you go to Apple menu and you look for the about FileMaker, that Macware, the Macware.
All right, so yeah, it was a Macware is what this is. So, sorry, I keep clicking once and then letting go. So this is like System 6, I think, is what this is.
Yeah, you need to click and you need to click.
Because System 7 is when they add it where you click and let go, I think.
Believe me or not, I still doing this.
Okay.
So back in the day, so that Macware software, okay. Before Nashoba system, see?
Yeah, Nashoba and fourth.
Okay, so Macware was the distributor. Okay, it was a distributing software. It wasn't. They were doing nothing. Macware. Remember Macware back in the day? They had all those utilities, the now utilities and the double, the double click, the disk doubler, Macware were distributing software, because back in the day when you were independent developer, you didn't have Macware was pretty much the Apple Store in the 80s, the app store. You want something, they were distributing the software, making the floppies, putting in the box, because back in the day you need a lot. It was like a record, like music. You need a physical support, so you need to have the factory to print the floppies, to make the copies of the software.
Yep.
To pack the packaging, all the logistic to send the packaging, to receive orders, payments, all of this. So they were asking the developers, like the people of Nashoba. There were two people. There were two people in the garage. What do you want them to do, right? They didn't have the logistics. So they were using Forethought. Forethought went to become a Microsoft company. Then they went to Macware. Back in the day, all the what's the name? All the software were named based on the name of the computer. So you had Nashoba FileMaker. That was the first. And then you had FileMaker Plus. Because first you have the FileMaker 128, right? That was the first FileMaker 128K.
Yep.
Then you had the 512K. Then you had the Plus. So they rename, because to have the your software needed to be updated to work on the Mac Plus. Okay, because of a ROM problem. That's a ROM issue and stuff like that. So they were renaming the software to make sure that people understand that the FileMaker Plus were working on, FileMaker Plus were working on the on the Mac Plus, and then they come with the Mac 2. Mac 2, remember, it was a 60-bit computer, 16-bit computer, not 8. And then not only this, but you had the floating point units calculator, okay? FPU, floating point unit calculator.
Yep.
So to make the software to convey the idea that the software is compatible, they start naming FileMaker 2 with the 2i, right? 2, like 2i, like this, right? Like Mac 2, FileMaker 2. And then they start naming FileMaker 4. Okay, so they had FileMaker, FileMaker Plus, FileMaker 2, FileMaker 4 first, and then FileMaker 2 with 2i. FileMaker 2 with the 2i like this were the first Claris FileMaker version before FileMaker Pro.
Wow.
Okay, so FileMaker 2 with 2i's, and then FileMaker Pro, and then
Right, there we are. I want to point out, a couple of you sent me backgrounds on how you got into the FileMaker platform. For me, I was hired by a family friend to work in a business, or to organize, because they were already using FileMaker Pro 1, and they brought me in, and I was already playing with HyperCard, and I realized, holy cow, this is weirdness. There's some similarities between this and HyperCard, so they're pretty interesting. Jackie Wang sent this to us. So I was an engineer who had some programming background. Jackie actually, this is TK55678 for those of you who don't know who this is. He moved to Germany when he was about 5. So that's probably an interesting story right there. But he studied computer science in Germany, and then he learned Postgres, I guess that's how you say that, Postgres. And so MySQL. So he's an SQL guy who also started using the Mac. And then somewhere along the line, he did I guess he did an internship with a company, T Systems G International GmbH. I'm not sure who they are. And they're a reporting department that came in contact with Oracle. And then after his time, car auctions, all this sort of stuff. So his parents were playing with Word and Excel. And then eventually he got into Access, which would make perfect sense. Most people, that's a very common thing for them to do. And then so once he got in the Mac, he started playing with more stuff. There weren't so many, I guess, JS with JavaScript, right? I mean, JavaScript wasn't really even a thing back then, right? So anyway, but he found FileMaker by accident, looked promising, and it had a quick... multiple user and quick usage to have a GUI, right? And so once again, this is the low code. So you got a guy who's trained in high code or professional code, high code, professional code. He finds by accident a low code application. This is many, many years before they ever call it low code. And suddenly he's off running wild with this FileMaker platform. And that is so common. People find it by accident. It's amazing. If you go and we look at Ken, I'm not sure where Ken, did we check mail? Let me see here. Ken, are you in here? Did you put yours in here? I'm not sure. I don't see it. Why don't you put it in Discord real quick? I could read it from there real quick if you want. But Ken sent me one. Keith Brock sent me another one as well. My computer's checking its mail right now. There's Ken right here. So here's Ken's story. So he came into it about 1995, and he was working at a school district in Albuquerque. He loves Albuquerque, right? Teaching classes, all that kind of stuff. And then he came into it with version 5. Yeah, it was about the time, right? And he learned custom web publishing, which was at the time probably CDML. CDML was a version that Claris had bought Lasso out from Lasso and then realizes it back to him. There was some sort of weird hinky thing that went on with that. So CDML was based on Lasso 3 or something like that, whatever it was. Very interesting. And it actually worked pretty well. And in some ways it wasn't standard like PHP was a standard, but it worked pretty damn well. It was pretty interesting, but it just wasn't standard, so people didn't like it. I think FileMaker is great when it supports more open source like JavaScript, things like that, CSS, things like that. It gets more acceptance. So he got into it managing with the schools, instructional plan application. He did a lot of work for them. So he stumbles into it by accident, completely by accident. Once again, then he built the student information system. That has happened with many, many people, right? Building a custom piece of software. Of course, now you could go and maybe buy a custom application that's designed for schools and managing schools, but this stuff is a lot of money. It's like I talk to people all the time about aviation, and they're like, is there some way we could build our own? Because they want to charge us $20,000 a month for an application that does aviation management. And and so there's all sorts of really interesting things that go on. A lot of your Carol from Oakland is there, and Marshall's there talking about disk doubler on the Mac. We used to call it crash doubler. There's a lot of history here with this. A lot of us are older, but there are younger people that are coming in, and I want to encourage younger people that just because some of this isn't familiar to you, don't be disheartened, because someday you're going to be the old person in the conversation. And you'd be like, I remember when Richard showed a picture of this thing in black and white, and I didn't even know computers were black and white.
Yes.
That was Megan, right? So Megan there. And I would, I have a Mac Plus. I would love to get a color classic or a classic too. I have an SE30, but, trying to get it to do anything is really tricky because
the AC30 was the best computer Apple ever made.
It was a 68030 processor with 32-bit. That was a 32-bit processor.
It was I had one with 2 hard drive inside. Remember, you could do that. So I had a incredible 50 megabyte storage.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's important to recognize I think how people come to FileMaker. They come to FileMaker not because it's sexy, not because they want to make a lot of money. I ran into someone the other day as a staff member, and they were like trying to figure out how to get more money. This person's actually kind of moved on to other pastures, but if you want to be the richest person and drive the biggest cars and stuff like that, and make money hand over fist, building FileMaker is not the place to do it. If your main goal in life is money and power, or vice versa, either one of those, then this is the tool we use to solve everyday problems that can't otherwise be easily solved. Yeah, that's Nathan Schneider goes, that's why I'm broke. I drive Toyota because all my money goes to RCC here. Yeah, that's so funny. But true is people come to me and they're like, I can't wait to be, like, I have an engineer who's actually here. I'm not going to talk about him, but he always would have he was like, I'm going to have a humble life and this and that. But he'd always have sports cars and Ferraris and Porsches on his desktop screen and a screensaver, right, on his computer. And so very interesting with that, right? So I'm going to move Nick over here a little bit. There you are, Nick. All right, so this is Ken Tooley. It's a good story, good conversation in here. Keith Brock sent me one a while back ago. He says he was Pinellas County, Florida, got into it. Asked if I knew anything about FileMaker Pro 2014, lied, and he said yes, and he got going on it. And so some people are newer, right? And that's fine. That's great. I'm glad you're here. For some of us, it's like, watching the legacy of this happen, right? Watching the product move forward. And then you have these moments like where you realize the sort dialogue literally is from 1912 on the Pony Express, right? And we showed that a second ago, right? The sort dialogue has not changed very much. Now, of course, how much can it change? I mean, sorting records. I mean, you have to you almost have to have, like Steve Jobs used to do LSD and God knows every other drug on the planet. We'd have these experiences where you're out there floating and coming up with magical new ideas. But you'd almost have to have some sort of out-of-body experience to reimagine what sorting would be like to make it revolutionarily new. Because really, to sort, you have to identify an element you want to sort by, and then you have to tell it to sort, right? I mean, beyond that, what else would you do on that dialogue, Nick? Right?
Yes, and that the problem is the problem. And more you wait, because actually what the problem with FileMaker is this: they wait too much. When they needed to be kind of a little bit inventive and revolutionary in the 90s and the 2000s, right? Something I want to, if I have 2 minutes here, I'd like to say something about this.
Sure. Let me just 1 second. I want to point out Carol, and since we're going through people's stories here, so Carol first used, Carol's in Oakland, and she's on Twitch under a call sign Elo Jot. Carol, I forget that's you. So whenever you show up there, make sure you say you're Carol from Oakland, which is great. Thank you for doing that. She said she first used FileMaker in '93 while working a part-time job at a biotech, then 2004 for real estate staging business, in 2008, 2016 for biotech again, a company that makes DNA, ran their entire operations using FileMaker. So yeah, once again, we all get to it kind of a similar way, solving critical issues.
Yeah, it's already something very vertical, right? It's very like something very specific that nothing else can do it, right? So it's
So what's your story? You're talking about the sort issue on
yeah,
this
the
stuff?
story of it. I mean, what I want to say is that remember, FileMaker is there. So we have the demo, right? The first FileMaker, 1984, right? How many software survived that long? How many Microsoft Word?
Not Word,
Excel.
Word and Excel.
Actually, Excel. I'm sorry, but Excel is younger than FileMaker. There was the name. All those software. All the software that Look what we could do back in the day. It was awesome. It was awesome what you could do. And so there's not many software that survived this. Okay, and if you remember well, all the software and everything that was existing before the 2000 bubble explosion, okay, the internet and the software explosion that we had in the 2000, right? All those software, all those stuff disappeared from the surface of the planet. Look what happened to Yahoo. Look what happened to MySpace. I mean, back in 1985 or 1998, if you weren't on MySpace, you was has been totally, okay. So, and everything disappeared, and all the software disappeared. All the software we were using, freehands, and all those software. So you have Photoshop that survived, right? So FileMaker is on the court of the software like Photoshop, Word, Excel, right? This is a kind of a software you're using. You're using a software that is it's a survival. Okay.
Yep. No, I'm flipping through some of the sample here. I was laughing because when you look at the report for a page report, we were talking, remember, about numbering pages the other day and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because it's is that when you go to report, the page the page symbols at the bottom have not changed. I mean, the feet.
The body. See, and what didn't change if you go layout mode is how you. Look at
that. Yeah, look at that. Right. So there it is, right there. There's your little thing there. And then like there's the little symbol for the page and if I go to browse mode
and this / the / symbol is a date.
Yeah. So page, and then, but to see this, there's no preview mode in here, so I'd actually have to print it to get it to output.
Yeah, you need to.
Preview. There's preview.
Yeah.
And then I can scroll down and see if it puts the date in there. There it is. Yep. There it is. Well, there's that date. Where's the other one?
On the right. Yeah. Up.
There it is. It put the page number in. So this has not changed at all.
No.
Right. So
and the / that was great because back in the day, if you go layout mode, the dates come. You just do pound. It was the page number, right?
Yep.
Pound, and / that was you got the date. You were typing and if you see the part, go to part on the left, parts.
Okay. Parts
on the left.
Oh, parts.
No. Yeah, drag it.
Yep.
You can add a part on the layout by dragging it.
Yeah. Actually, that's they got rid of that when they went to the vertical thing on the top.
No, it's the same. We do the same. I do that every day. It's not on the side anymore. Right?
Is it on the top, or you just go, or do you go up under layout? I always go up the layout setup. So yeah.
Yeah, but today you have the same tool and you can do exactly the same thing.
All right. So let me. I guess I should probably check that out. All right. So let me see. So we got that over here. So then, if you were on let me go back to so I'm in a list view, right? So then I go layout mode, and then I show the top. It's kind of really fat, but there's no part up here, right? I don't think there's a part.
Yes, this no. Next, okay. No. Next to the no, okay.
That one? Is
Stop
that
moving.
it?
Yeah, this one. You drag it.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Drag it.
Okay, so here's the there's the two dialogues. If I can get these side by side here. There we go. So that's the change, right? So
look, it's the same.
Yep.
It's the same.
It's funny about that. It's been really great that it's similar, but at the same time, when it doesn't get modernized as fast, it encourages competitors to come in and take a swing at Claris, and that's what happens, right? So yeah. So Ruben says his journey began 5 years ago. He worked as a systems engineer for a music school, needed some specific software. They could buy FileMaker license under Kedges, so they bought it and worked with FileMaker 13. Finally, I got sound. Bunny got sound. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, interesting stuff. So cool.
Yeah, innovator die, and that okay. You know what? FileMaker is not going to die. You know why? Because it's the original concept was so great. The idea, like I said, the idea of putting a Mac draw on top of Nutshell, that was the original concept. The original sparkle was there. You know, like the imagine of life on Earth, right? It's the same thing. It's that was the spark that triggers the life, and then you can stop it. Okay,
Hey,
so
so it's not going to go anywhere.
No.
I'm agreed to that. I get frustrated, but it's not going to go anywhere. I have a question real quick. So did you not do the bomb story? I had to grab a drink real quick, but remember when you were blown up? They blew up your Starbucks. You want to tell that story real quick?
Yeah. So when I was in the Middle East, I was based in Lebanon. By the way, I don't know if there's Lebanese people watching or stuff like that. I want to say that the best time of my life I spent over there. It's unfortunate what happened now in the country, but it's okay. David Edge, say hi to your mom. Because David Edge, his mother is she's Lebanese, and she left 12 years ago, like me. You see, 12 years ago she left. Yeah, she left in the 2008 or 9 or something like that, because everything was pretty much calm over there because when in the country where I was working, you as myself, you can go to work, you can live there, you can live there. You can live where you have the Christian cross on your passport and stuff.
Oh, were you in Saudi? Was that where you were at, Saudi?
Yes.
Okay,
so you have this problem, okay. But I was working there, so I needed a place where I can land and go. I was going Syria, I was going Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I was going to all those countries. So I was going like this, right? So it was like a span like this. And Beirut was perfect because it was like a 45 minutes flying from everywhere. So the fly was you take the plane, you go up like this, they serve you the coffee, and then you have zoom, ding dong, we're going to land, babe. that was is so, because everything's so close to each other, right? So the distance so close, right? And it's like you want to fly from Sacramento to Oakland, pretty much, right? It's you do like this. So and one day, so I was living there. I was like the Queen of Saba over there, and I was going every day. I was going to the Sassin place in Beirut, right? It's a square, Sassin Square. It's a place where you have a restaurant, bars, Starbucks, coffee, and stuff. You have all the hanging out at night and stuff like that. That was the place. Okay. And it was like walking distance from my home, right? And one morning, I got kind of an explosion that shook up the building, like really, really shook up the building. And I said, what the heck is going on there, right? And then I learned that they blew up the square, right? So they blew up the square, so all the Starbucks blew up, all the restaurants blew up, everything blew up, and people blew up. Okay, so and I said, okay, time to go. It's time to go. Because I was going to a restaurant. This restaurant, I have photos. I will show you the photo next time. But I was going to a restaurant. So to go to the restaurant, you had to drive, okay, with a car in a mountain and go in the Bekaa Valley. In the Bekaa Valley, they fought, and the restaurant was in the Bekaa Valley. And then when you're there, you understand what they fought, because when you're on top of the hill like this, right? When you're on top of the mountain and you see, okay, here you have Israel, here you have Syria, here you have all those countries like this, and you see everything is dry. There's not even a tree. On all those countries like this. And then you have the Bekaa Valley, and you have all the water, and it's the garden of the Middle East, we call that, right? And you have all the fruits and all the vegetables and stuff like that. And then outside you have nothing, the desert, right? That's why they fought, is because of the water, right? So, and there's a restaurant there, and to go to the restaurant you have to pass like checkpoints, okay, with the Kalashnikov and stuff like that. You have the Druzes, and then you have the thing, and then that. So you have to present your passport and with the guy with the Kalashnikov like this, right? And then you go, you have the road going down to go to the Bekaa Valley, and you see an old tanks full of rust like this, and then you have holes on the so you go like this between the holes and stuff, because they fought like crazy over there, right? So it's funny. I mean, you need to be ready for this. But when they start blowing up my square where I was going to eat every lunch, I said, "Oh no, I have to." And maybe that's why Nate's mother, left at the same time, because it was becoming crazy there.
Well, that's going to wrap it for today, folks. It's been an exciting day. I know that probably the Jake and some of the other folks, Megan has already jettisoned out and taken off. Welcome everyone to an awesome Friday. Glad you're here. I wanted to spend a little time and talk about the community, kind of where we came from a little bit of history. There is a bunny here, so for those of you, welcome, Bunny. But yeah, it's kind of the history of the FileMaker a little bit, where it came from, how it got to where it's at, what it looks like back. And this is the version FileMaker from 86. This is a 1986 product right here. So we're playing with FileMaker here. We're looking at it. We're using it, and it's simulated on a Mac 2 right here, black and white. So pretty limited. There's no scripts, no buttons here at all.
A little bit of script, search, prints, very limited scripts.
Scripts right here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. So watch this, everyone. If you do a new script, okay, this is what you could tell the script will do. Okay, like you could say, find me Nathan and talk to PayPal and do this other thing and send me a text message and blah 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 blah. So you end up with what?
Richard, look, restore the find request.
Yeah, I know. So restore find request. Guess what? That's the same thing now, right? So there you go. So I'm gonna say test, and you say okay. That's it. These are the scripts. This is what the script can do to print. You must have it. Oh, you had to have an image writer hooked up. All right, I got an image writer warning. I must have an image writer. So you go to scripts here. If I click once, and then the word edit is not a thing yet. It's change, right? And you go, so this is a script. And so where you're thinking of lines of script and lines of code, that doesn't exist. You can select that it's going to, in this order of things, switch to a layout, restore a page setup, print. It's going to do it's going to restore a print order, but it's going to do a find for you, a sort order for you, preview maybe, then print, then switch back. So it's this cookie cutter, go somewhere, do a find, do a sort, do a print, come back. Not attached to a button. You have to come in here and tell it to run it manually. And in a lot of ways, this mimics a lot what a lot of people still do. A lot of developers just build stuff like this and then they're done, right? So yeah,
it's awesome. And can you go to the selector? I was talking about the selector, the Apple menu. You need to cancel this. You need to cancel it.
Beeping.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go here.
Yeah, selector.
So where's that? Where am I?
The chooser. Sorry, it's chooser.
Chooser. Oh, I haven't seen the chooser in a long time.
See, okay, that one. So you have the Apple Talk. So when you have Apple Talk active, remember the Apple Talk active on the port. Oh my gosh, it was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you have nothing here.
Yeah, I have nothing. I'm gonna break. Yeah. I'm gonna crash it. So, but anyway, yeah. So welcome to the modern world of this and the lack of the modern world, and then there we are. So. Well, anyway, glad you're everyone here. We'll be picking up next week. So we're going to go from nostalgic to right in your face with modern FileMaker server. It's going to be awesome. And so we're glad you're here. If you have questions or comments, please, we read the messages. Hello, everyone. Hey, everyone on the internet. We read the messages you send us. So if you send us an email to support@RC Consulting, we'll read it, okay? Please communicate with us. Tell us what you'd like to see in a future broadcast. We have some really exciting things coming up. So that's it for today. Appreciate it. See you, Nick.
See you. Bye-bye.
He's just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected, the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap, stands in, throws it left for Amendola, reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10, rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.